Alright guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to the beautiful Gold Coast. And to be more specifically, we are recording this video at Riverwood Drive Reserve. This is the beautiful park behind where I live. So instead of shooting at the Cleveland Point as per last 3 times, we're shooting at my backyard, so to speak. As promised in last video, I'm going to bring about my last week's fat loss update to you guys this time. So in last video, I've predicted that I should be able to lose 0.7 kilos of body weight within this week. So what happened was the final result in this week. Well, without further ado, let me just put out the table there for you guys to reference. And as you can see, this Saturday morning, I jumped on the scale and my weight was 87.4 kilos. And compared to last Sunday, the weighing result, which was 88.8 kilos, I managed to lose 1.4 kilos within this week. So I managed to beat my prediction, and pretty much I managed to double the result of what I've expected in last week. So all in all, I was very happy with this week's progress. But instead of talking something like caloric cycling or weight training, or something else, fat loss in general, what I want to do in this video is probably just walk through the feeling I felt, the feeling of what I have one day by day, because I can tell you guys that every day I was feeling a little different as I go deeper and deeper into my fat loss phase. So let's start from last Sunday, and I'm going to talk about what I've done on each particular day. So as you can see, on Sunday, I did 2 hours of a cardio, one in the morning and one at night. So that was definitely a degree of dizziness, something like very similar to hypoglycemia after I finished my second session of cardio training at about 6 p.m. After I finished my cardio training at 6 p.m., I didn't want to do anything else but I just want to sleep. I just want to get some rest. So the feelings I had after the cardio training was very similar to low blood sugar. So you just feel dizzy and you don't want to do anything. So I suppose that's the result, or that's the outcome of a 2,000 caloric deficit cut within a day from cardio. That's how your body is going to feel after 2,000 caloric cut within the same day. So, but I can tell you that this is probably still a better situation. I can only think that if you cut 2,000 calories from your diet within the same day, the effect is going to be even worse than cutting from cardio. But that's something I want to talk about, the tools you want to use when you go through your own fat loss phase. As I've talked about in my fat loss series, the different tools you can use in your fat loss progress. One thing is dietary change, another tool is cardio training, and another tool is weight training. And out of 3 tools, if you really want to push caloric deficit, like in my case, like I push my caloric deficit on this day to be more than 1,000 calories in a day. So in this instance, I do think it's very important for you to use the right tool. When I say the right tool, I mean use cardio instead of just dietary change. Because I think cardio is probably the best tool to counterbalance all the negative effect of caloric deficit, which in my case, I did not have this, I was not consumed by my hunger, and I have no inclination to binge eat after my second session of cardio training, which if you have cut all your calories from only your diet, you probably have a strong tendency to want to binge eat after starving yourself. So because I managed to do 2 hours of cardio on the same day, that allowed me to still eat quite a lot. And so my body can still absorb all the nutrients from the food. So that's something I want to talk about, how I felt on Sunday. Let's move on to Monday. As you can see, I have done another 2 hours of cardio training on Monday. And okay, what I can say is that once again, after second session of cardio training, there's a sense of definitely suffering. There's definitely a sense of suffering after second session of cardio training. And from my from this is from my angle, I definitely think 2 hours of cardio training is much more difficult than 2 hours of a gym session. I can definitely survive 2 hours in the gym, but to ask me to do 2 hours of cardio, that is definitely much more important than to ask me spend 2 hours in the gym. So uh, and because I was talking about suffering, definitely after the second session of cardio, I want to reward myself with something. So that's how I chose to do it. So after second session of cardio, I rewarded myself with some Diet Coke. No, I'm not going to drink bland water after so much cardio. Bland water is just too boring for me at this point. So I want to reward my some. I want to reward myself with something that is still tasty. In my in my case, this is going to be let me see, Pepsi Max mango flavor. This is currently my favorite flavor. Although at night I probably would choose Pepsi Max caffeine-free version because you definitely don't want to ingest too much caffeine at night to interfere with your sleep quality. So let's move on to Tuesday. Uh, as you can see, something interesting happened on Tuesday. My weight actually rebound despite I've done 2 hours of cardio on Monday. But as I've told you guys in my last video, I wasn't so worried about the short-term weight fluctuations. There could be multiple reasons to account for this kind of weight fluctuations. But on Tuesday, something interesting happened in the morning. There was a significant cardio performance dip that happened to me. So normally when I'm doing an hour of cardio, I'm able to burn between 960 to 1,000 calories in 1 hour. But on Tuesday morning, I only managed to burn 880 calories in 1 hour. So my performance dropped from 960 calories to 880 calories. That's a big drop. That's really a big drop. And it was almost like there was an expressive signal from my body telling me that no, I just don't want to push hard. Give me a rest. So that's something I want to say about what happened on Tuesday. But actually, move on to Tuesday night. My weight training quality was not affected so much. Although, as I've told you guys in last video, a I was doing like 7 sets of hammer curls in one training session, and that's definitely considered as super high volume. This time on Tuesday, I reduced my super high volume training on my brachioradialis and brachialis from 7 sets to 4 sets. Still high volume, but I wouldn't consider it as super high volume. So that's my feeling on Tuesday. Now let's move on to Wednesday. Let me just see. Wednesday morning I didn't do any weigh-ins. I only did 1 hour of cardio at night. So Wednesday there was nothing special for me to report to you guys. But moving on to Thursday. So Thursday morning, it was definitely difficult for me to wake up early at 4 a.m. There's definitely like a clear feeling of fatigue at 4 a.m. when I woke up. So yeah, okay, so that's something that's something your body is probably going to send a signal to you when you're in a caloric deficit phase for quite some time. But as I've told you guys before, I do believe the outwork the what's it called, the outworking rule that faster cardio is going to teach you. So yes, if you want to succeed in your life, you have to outwork others as an average person. So a Thursday morning degree of fatigue, but still I managed to do 1 hour faster cardio in the morning. And moving on to Thursday night, the weight training session still went quite well. So like in terms of weight training quality, like I'm currently in a caloric deficit state, the quality is still quite good. So let's see how it goes as I go deeper and deeper into my fat loss phase. But one thing I can tell during my weight training is that my leg training quality, now I'm beginning to feel like there's like encroachment of cardio into my leg training quality, particularly to my quads during the squat movement. I can definitely feel that I didn't have the full power of my quads while I was doing squat on Thursday night. So that's something new to me. Well, that's probably not something new to me, because if you do tons of cardio, then your quads are probably not going to be like fresh when they go to weight training session. So that's all the things I want to say on Thursday. Let's move on to Friday. Uh, Friday morning, as you can see in the table, I didn't wake up early to do the morning weigh-ins, but now it was even difficult for me to wake up at normal time now. So yeah, there's definitely a price to pay if you stay in a caloric deficit state for a very long time. But I was still not consumed by my hunger on Friday. So yes, there was a degree of like fatigue, clear fatigue, but in terms of hunger, I wasn't consumed by hunger. So I can still manage to just eat like 2 main meals and a white side meal only. So not like 6 meals before. But once again, I credit this to using the right tool, which I've said before. The right tool is going to be cardio. I don't want all my caloric deficit to be created by dietary changes. I don't think that's a good move. I think when it comes to fat loss phase, to fat loss, the higher caloric deficit you can create out of by doing cardio, probably the better the result, and the less suffering you're actually going you're going to throw yourself into. So yeah, that's what I want to say about what happened on Friday. Now this morning, a Saturday, it's always going to be like for me it's like always going to be like a time to reveal the truth moment, because yeah yeah, it's I generally calculate my fat loss result starting from last Sunday to this Saturday. So as you can see, my weight dropped from last Sunday's 88.8 kilos to this morning's 87.4 kilos. So even compared to like just a few days ago, on like say on Thursday, my weight was like 88 kilos. But yeah, this morning when I jumped on the scale, it was 87.4 kilos. So once again, guys, even there's starting from like, let me see, starting from Monday to Thursday, my weight was fairly stable. It was just fluctuating between 88 kilos. There was no clear sense that the weight was going to drop overnight. But as you can see, this morning when I woke up, yeah, it dropped by 0.6 kilos. So in total, I managed to lose a 1.4 kilos in the last week, which I have to say, I'm very satisfied with the result. And yeah, that's all I want to say about what happened in last week's fat loss progress. And yes, as you can see, it's probably beginning to rain now. I can already hear all the thunderstorm just rolling around here. So let me just wrap up this video very quickly. Let me make a prediction for the fat loss result in the next week. I predict that I'm going to lose about 0.9 kilos in the next week. Let's put a flag here and see what's going to happen in a week's time. Hopefully, I can beat my own prediction again. And yeah, that's all I say. That's all I want to say about my second week fat loss progress. And hopefully you have enjoyed this. Hopefully you have enjoyed this video, and please give a like and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to watch my other videos, let me have a look. Let me just put a link out there for you guys. This is actually a second series, which is called Hacking into the Ultimate Hypertrophy Code. So in this series, I've detailed my whole fitness journey, starting from my very beginning, when I was still like just a fat boy. So I'm definitely not like this. I was in a different form for pretty much for the majority of my life. And as a matter of fact, I can tell you that actually I'm going to release another episode by the end of this year as continuation of the second series, because I do think it's very it's very meaningful for me to record all my fitness journey to show you guys that if I can do it, there's no particular reason that you guys cannot do it yourselves. All right, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and yeah, let me see you next time. Hopefully I will be leaner and cleaner compared to this week's version. Thank you very much, and I will see you next time.